Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your general read for April 2019. I'm Jade with yesYesYes. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. How you doing? Hope we're ready for springtime. I am ready for springtime in the Northern Hemisphere. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, ready for autumn, which might be a nice break for you as well. I love the shoulder seasons. So what we're going to do is I'm bringing up the general cards from your overall reading from 2019. I'll link to that in the box below. Your general card for this year is the Mystical Shaman. This also reduces to the master number 11. Hello. So what you're being called to do this year is to really dive into your ability to create the life of your wildest dreams and kind of detach from the story that you've had thus far. And being able to do that is really difficult. I feel like that's the whole journey this year for you, is to really own your power and then shatter whatever beliefs you had about yourself and what power even might be. It's completely a new blank slate. And seeing what magic can really become by it being open to it and kind of playing with it. And it's a really powerful card for you. It's the deck itself is the Mystical Shaman deck. So it's you, and I feel like this is, again, Jupiter being in your sign this year. It's giving you all of this power and all of this abundance to step forward in a way that you never have before. It's a beautiful card. Now, specifically for April, we've got some challenges here for you, Sag. We've got the Three of Swords. So there might have been a relationship, or there might just be some depression, some down feelings because of winter, and we're just trying to move forward. That's why I'm saying, let's get really ready to move into the next phase. You're also being clarified by the clouds, which is confusion. So I feel that this is a passing phase, for one. I feel this is temporary anyway, but I'm feeling that this grief or this depression or this kind of just down feeling and you're just kind of confused as to why you're even feeling it. There may not be something specifically that's gotten you there. I think you're trying to figure out why you're feeling these winter doldrums. I would encourage you to get out in nature or in the sunlight if possible. And let me see, what's another way? Oh, make sure that you're taking vitamin D, because that's something that's a huge deal, especially if you're not in sunlight daily. So just keep in mind that this is something that's passing. It just might be the overall theme, the overall feeling of April, but I feel like you're going to be coming out of it, okay? So we'll keep these here, and now we're going to move on and get some more clarity on all of this using the Klimt Tarot here. I have pre-shuffled, but I'll give a few more just for you, Sag, for April 2019. I've got a lot of jumping cards. I'm filming this during Mercury retrograde, so I've had some really interesting reads trying to pull the energies together, because I think we're all going through some stuff. We're all going through some need for clarity. We're all questioning where, we're prepping ourselves for the next big thing. So there's a lot coming up here. Okay, so I've got, I have the Devil in reverse. I actually have all reversals here. The Devil in reverse, King of Pentacles, and Ace of Cups, all in the reverse. So we have Capricorn energy here, but this might be talking about this feeling of this depression-y stuff. So what it's showing me in the past here is that there was some type of maybe it was an addictive behavior, maybe it was an addictive or a desire, right? Like it could be even taboo, something that was in a lower vibration, a lower energy, even a fear, something like that, right? These are lower vibrations that you came out of, actually. So you kind of shed that. I think that you were looking at that and really processing through this part of your life, and that you're really trying to move past it and move forward from it. It's been slow going, and I think you had to kind of root down and even maybe shut people out while you were digging through and revealing a different part of yourself through this process. You know, and if we're talking about addiction, let's just talk about it like that. Addiction is really difficult to break, and applause to you for doing so. If that's, you know, even if it's just, for Lent or something like that, right? You decide to cut out meat or sugar or something like that. Being able to do that is changing our daily habits is very difficult. So I feel like you just kind of, you know, rooted down a bit, shut people out so that you wouldn't get distracted from your goal of shedding this, okay? So if it was just a behavior pattern, behaviorism, or if it was a nutritional pattern, that type of thing, I feel that you've maybe just went within a little bit more so than maybe is necessary anymore. It's time to come out, okay? There was a potential for something to begin emotionally that just didn't happen. And I think that could have been, again, tied to that addiction or tied to that taboo, whatever that lower vibration is that it's just you were tempted in the past, and that temptation caused you to have to really hold on to what clear vision you had to be and to live your life outside of that addiction, right? So if it's, you know, I really don't want to drink coffee anymore, and changing your lifestyle based on that means that you can't go to coffee shops because the smell of it's going to trigger, right? So you had lots of challenges in doing so in the past of getting rid of whatever this temptation, whatever this addiction, if it was an actual Capricorn in your life or someone that even represented that behavior or that feeling, that lower vibration. I feel like you have, there were little checks about, are you sure you want this? The universe dropping it in a little bit, the possibility of it coming back in, and you were really good about, no, I don't want this. No, I'm staying really clear with, I want to change my life, okay? Beautiful work, tough work, Sag, okay? Let's see where you're at now, presently, for Sagittarius in April 2019, April, okay. So you definitely have moved past that and you've been successful at it, okay? So right now you might be feeling good knowing that you've broken that pattern or broken that habit or put that, taken that person out of your life, whatever it was that was just of lower vibration or that toxicity or that addiction. So you're successful at it. I think that you worked really hard at it, but maybe others didn't see it. Maybe what they saw was you removing yourself and becoming more of a hermit. Maybe even being, some people don't understand the process of breaking habits. And if you, stop drinking and then you stop hanging out with people who are drinking, then they start thinking that you're judging them or that you're higher and mightier than them. So I'm feeling that there was some pushback from the community or from your friends, whoever you were hanging out with before, where when you decided to change this pattern in life and just said, you know what, this is not for me anymore, and you had to remove yourself from that social situation. And now they're not even seeing that hard work that you did because they don't see that as work. All they're seeing is the repercussions of you not being in their lives anymore. And that triggers them to look at their lives, themselves more, to really understand, and maybe they don't. Maybe they're just seeing that your righteousness, or, you might be, looking at just spending time with other people and that they're not good enough anymore. Or, that maybe they don't notice at all. But what I'm feeling is that it wasn't a support from your friends because you had to remove yourself. Totally makes sense. And because of that, with this Nine of Wands energy, is that you actually had to show all of the hard work that you did, okay? You're wearing your wounds. You're demonstrating it so that people can see you in the vulnerable state that you're in. You've worked really hard. And even if it's, again, a toxic relationship or just, a toxic person in your life that you've cut out, you're to a place now where you have graduated from that experience. And you just need some accolades. You just need a little bit of support from the community. Now that you're ready to come back out, you're ready to show them, look, I'm in this totally different place now. I have found my power. I'm starting to look at life differently, and I've released any kind of addictions, released any toxicity, released that energy. It was really hard for me. So, and I love that this vulnerability, that's what I love about the Nine of Wands, is that it shows all of us. It's like a mirror that we have been through a struggle of trying to create life in the way in which works best for us. And sometimes there are ups and sometimes there are downs. And when we get to the end of it, and we're not to the end of it because that's the 10, but when we almost get to the end of it, it's as if, we have all of these wounds and scars and sometimes, and it doesn't have to be negative when I say that, like you have wisdom through it as well, right? So the ups and the downs bring the positive and the negative. And so, but the Nine of Wands is really about showing the process, the vulnerability that you have learned from the process. And it's a beautiful energy to be in, especially with all of this deep work. Okay, great job, Sag. I really am applauding you here. Let's see what's coming up for the future for Sag in April 2019. For Sag, April 2019. Okay, that's the one. All right, and then I've got another one coming out. Okay, so we've got the Strength card, Leo energy, and this is self-worth. So you've gone through this depth. You've kind of uncovered and probably looked at yourself in ways that you didn't want to see. You didn't want to see the issues that you were holding on to. You didn't want to see the patterns that you had created. You didn't want to see what addiction can create or what addiction can turn someone into, So now you've faced it all. You've come out on the other side, and now you're seeing your self-worth. You've lifted yourself to the next level, literally. So what I'm feeling is that you wouldn't allow yourself to be treated in the ways that you did in the past, because you are no longer that person. You are no longer in that lower vibration. So you have lifted yourself, Sag, beautiful. And I'm also feeling like you're kind of going back to the nostalgia and the sweetness of the past, when things were lighter and freer, like before. If this is addiction, before the addiction took hold, right? Looking back at who you were, what your goals were, what your desires were before any of this, before this toxicity, before the ick that took over, that you had to shed, okay? You're going back and kind of erasing it even from your life. I feel like we can do that. It's good to acknowledge that journey that you've been through and never to forget it. Forgive it, absolutely. But I think it's totally possible to erase some time, to go back and then go back to that place where you had that choice and to choose a different road, instead of, taking that addiction, going down that taboo that kind of took you under to that lower vibration. You choose the other route, and to see what that really is. I feel like that's what's going on for you, Sag, is that you're just kind of backing it up with the boop, boop, going back to where you were and choosing the other road that presented itself at that moment. And how amazing that is for you, how empowering that is for you, because you're taking charge of your life again, not living it in a way where it's just kind of unraveling and unfolding, but you're taking charge of it and going back to where you want to be and starting over. Why not? I think you could totally do that. And that's why I love seeing the past and the future cards kind of play. They play with our timelines a lot. So you can do that in the future. And I think that's also going to bring you really clear understanding, and you may, as it's kind of a course correction, right? So you're going from being one extreme low vibration to being in a higher vibration. And it's going to take some time to kind of correct this. So I think initially what's going to happen is you might have your guard up. You do want to be vulnerable and show people what you've been through. But in speaking what's going on, just be aware that you still need to be compassionate towards your community, towards other people who might be going through that same situation. I'm speaking it because it's the Ace of Swords. So it's a new way of communicating, but it's also because it's swords, it's without heart, right? So I always urge people to feel into your connection, feel into your compassion as you're speaking your truth. Because it's important to speak your truth, but it's also important to be aware of how it's received. Because otherwise, you can speak your truth to yourself all day if that's what needs to be said. But how it's being heard is just as important. So keep that in mind as well, Sag. This is beautiful. Okay, so the card that flipped out was the Three of Cups, and it came out in the reverse. So again, I feel like we're talking about that energy, and it's the energy, the lower vibration, the temptations, the addiction possibilities, whatever it is that you're shedding, okay? And it doesn't have to be actual addiction. It doesn't have to be a bad relationship, but whatever it is about you in your life that you're shedding, that's what we're talking about. And so that energy is still around, okay? It's still challenging you. It's going to come up because that's just what happens when it's a pattern that you have to release, is that it's going to show up, and then it's going to show up again, but just a little less, and then it's going to show up again, just a little less. So just know that even though you're on the other side of it, that pattern is still around. It's the, like, I can handle life, I can do things the way that I want, I can, I don't have to have any, I don't have to take into consideration any other people. And I feel like that's what this card is coming back to tell you, that yes, you do. Yes, you have to stay focused on being that better person that you want to be. We are always being urged to be aware and mindful of who we are and what we say and how we treat others. And while we may think, and we are, I believe, underlying beautiful, gorgeous people, sometimes our actions, sometimes the motivations don't start from that same place because of pain or because of, whatever gunk baggage that has happened, which is what you're shedding, okay? So what I'm saying is that keep in mind that it's a process, and you've done brilliant work. And because it's a process, because it's a pattern, it may show itself up again. And just ask for help, maybe, because you're in this place of being vulnerable with others, showing them what's been going on for you. Maybe just saying, hey, look, can you help me be accountable to, my behavior or my words or, my actions I'm still, it's Lent's not over with yet. I can't eat the meat, I can't do the sweets, whatever it is. So feel free to ask for help, because the last little bits are going to be the challenging ones, because you're going to think, oh my God, I thought I was done with this. I thought I had dealt with this. But that's the universe just coming up and saying, are you sure? Are you sure you're on the right path? Are you sure this is the right path? Are you sure? And you just have to keep recommitting, okay? That's all it is. It's just recommitting. This is a beautiful reading, Sag. I really want to commend you for whatever this work is that you've been doing. Really tough. I see you. I see this work in the reading. So great job. Reach out if you're needing help or that extra support towards this last bit, because you deserve it. That's probably what this grief, this overall feeling of confusion and grief is coming from, is just being able to just shed that last bit. But Sagittarius, overall, great reading for you. So glad to hear that we're moving on. So for now, I'll send you all my love. See you next time.